As a segregated Black neighborhood, North Port St. Joe faces many setbacks in health equity. This following video is about transformative scenarios regarding education for North Port St. Joe, focusing on mentorship and online education. Although it represents possible situations in the future, these scenarios are hypothetical and are not conclusive.
Hello parents, teachers, and students. Welcome to our board meeting to discuss allocation of funds.
The school board said that they were working with the school district leadership intensely for funding. I think we'll actually make progress.
This is Port St. Joe we're talking about. What makes you think this time is going to be any better?
I'm just so worried about my child's education. They come home and tell me that there's not enough teachers, so there's 40 students in each class. The teacher doesn't have enough time to help them individually.
I also think there is a lot to be improved upon, which is why I'm anxious about this school board meeting. There's so many possibilities for how this can turn out, and the effects of getting funding or not getting funding.
I'm glad to announce that we have secured funding for the school district, but there is a catch. We only have enough funding for either a mentorship program or an online education program. We will present 3 possibilities that can occur for either program, which we will call the Living Waters, Murky Waters, and Cesspool scenarios. We would like the community's input before we reach a decision in the upcoming weeks. Please ask any questions you may have.
Well, what would the Living Waters scenario look like for a mentorship program then? We definitely need more teachers in our schools. 40 students in a single classroom is unacceptable.
Our Living Waters scenario for the mentorship program involves hiring more staff to help students with their specific learning needs. This includes hiring more teachers to reduce class size and also hiring tutors for extra helping hands around the classroom. With this influx of new teachers, the education disparity gap will drastically decrease. Students and teachers alike will benefit from various educational opportunities.
This sounds amazing. Providing more funding to teachers and upcoming mentors will greatly benefit our students. I'm sure they will do great things with this program.
I'm not quite buying it. It seems too optimistic. Who knows if these newly hired mentors are even qualified to professionally do their jobs?
Do we have any other questions concerning our ideas for the mentorship program?
And what about the Murky Waters scenario for this mentorship program?
We predict that after the dispersal of funding for our mentorship program, a Murky Waters scenario would show implication of mentors, but no meaningful change in the education. We are aware this sounds grim or useless, but any change is a small step towards bettering our school system, and it takes attitude changes in our community too.
That's not enough of a change for us to donate our tax dollars to. Teachers are capable enough for teaching students. Why bring in mentors that will not improve education when you already have teachers? This doesn't seem like the big, ambitious plan that we need to fix the school system.
Do we have any other questions or concerns on the funding going towards mentorship programs?
What is the predicted cesspool scenario for this mentorship program?
We predict the cesspool scenario in this case is that due to the amount of mentor to student ratio, students will have limited access, and only a select few students will benefit. There is also the risk of students that can access the mentorship will not fully benefit or learn from mentorship, and possibilities of students not meshing well with their mentor.
The Living Waters scenario does not seem to outweigh the murky or cesspool scenarios. I do believe it may be a waste for our funding to go towards mentorship programs.
I think we may be jumping to conclusions too quickly. I can see many benefits coming from mentorship programs if they are properly executed, including strengthening student and teacher bonds and students being able to dive deeper into topics of their interests.
I'm not quite buying it. It seems too optimistic. Who knows if these newly hired mentors are even qualified to professionally do their jobs?
Your concerns are valid. This is why we have created another Living Waters scenario depicting the funding of an accessible online education program. This Living Waters scenario for the online education program includes the implementation of hybrid classrooms. This emphasizes the focus on the importance of student/teacher accessibility. Implementation of an online program will increase the quality of life for both parties mentioned previously. This gives students and parents easier access to educational resources from their homes.
Despite the inability to make both of these scenarios an immediate possibility, both Living Water scenarios prioritize the needs of students. Are there any more questions or concerns about the funding going towards online education?
And what about the Murky Waters scenario for this program?
A possible Murky Water scenario in this case is that online schooling lacks discussion, which offers different views and a chance to dig deeper, causing learning to be more surface level. Another possibility is that students will not be provided enough encouragement or motivation to complete online work at their best ability, and just do enough to pass. No significant impact on knowledge gained would occur.
Are there any more questions about this program?
I remember that when schools went online during COVID, I didn't do so well. I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't see my friends, school didn't feel real, and I hardly learned anything. I barely passed too. What's to say that won't happen again?
Your experience very much embodies what we have in our cesspool scenario, which is that students such as yourself won't be as interested or involved with learning through a screen. You won't interact with your teachers and peers as you once did. It becomes hard to stay focused when you're not participating like before, and your grades suffer. This scenario also presents the possibility that less students graduate as a result.
Why should we go with online education when that can happen? I want my child to graduate.
I must reiterate that this is just a scenario. The Living Waters, Murky Waters, and Cesspool scenarios are all possibilities that could happen with this funding. Also, in-person education will not go away if we implement this online program. Like we stated, education would become hybrid due to an online option. Now that we have addressed these scenarios, are there any other questions? As long as that was all of the questions that we have today, we will be sending this meeting to a close.
The program that ultimately ends up with the funding will take loads more community input, meetings, and deliberation. We thank you all for your participation, communication, and questions.
Just by learning these scenarios and possible outcomes, you have gained base-level knowledge of the efforts going in to restore our city and the power to transform the future of public education in Port St. Joe.
We thank you all for coming. This meeting is adjourned.